As mandated by Rotary, the accounts have been circulated within the prescribed time frame. And to date, I have had no feedback from any of you. I take it that you were satisfied with what you received, and therefore it is not necessary for you to send any feedback. However, just for the benefit of some of you, I will go through the accounts. As you are aware, at the beginning of the year, a budget is submitted to RI. Oh, okay. A budget is submitted to RI. You'll forgive me because I'm not as up to date with all this clicking and clicking. I still like to do things longhand. And on the basis of that budget, the district governor is advanced 75% of the budget. Now, in order to obtain the additional 25%, RI has to be satisfied that the money is properly spent, that it relates to the budget that was presented, and they demand receipts, signed receipts, for all expenditure. You will note that we have total receipts of $162,048, and we have an total expenditure of $141,077, giving us an excess revenue over expenditure of $20,971. I know in a short while you may wonder, what are we going to do with that? But I will tell you. However, I'm going to go through the line items one by one just to let you see what it's all about. Each member pays $27 dues. Of the $27, $2 goes towards the disaster fund. We calculated there was 1,981 members, and $2 we took from the $27 you paid. That gave us $3,962, which you would see is transferred to the disaster fund. You'll see the first item there in the accounts was a grant from PDG Elvin and a grant from PDG Milton. You may wonder why I would be dealing with the grant from PDG Elvin. Well, somehow he was not able to distribute his funds during his year, so that money was transferred to me just to do him a favor, and I distributed that money in accordance with his submission for grants to various clubs. For instance, Leomiga in St. Kitts, they receive a grant of $5,200, and that was for education literacy. Paramaribo residents, education literacy, they got $8,500. Marval for community development, they got $4,000. St. Augustine for health services, they got $6,000. You also had Paramaribo Community Development, 6,000, and Schuyler, they got $3,483, giving us a total of $33,183. In respect of the grants for past District Governor Milton, his amount was $30,013.97, and that was distributed to Grand Tier de Chateau. They got $5,325. Georgetown for a toy library, they got $2,500. Montserrat Science and Education Laboratory, they got $3,000. Tobago had a dyslexia awareness project, they got $4,000. Water resource sanitation in Grenada East, they got $5,000. And Francois, they got classroom restoration, and they were given a grant of $2,000. So that is how the grants were distributed. You'll also see we had the dues from the clubs, and included in the dues was the $2, which I explained earlier, and that gave us a total of $162,048. Now, the other items you see explained there are routine. The travel expenses for the district governor. Sometimes that's the most problematic part of doing the accounts. In that, when you make your submission to RI, sometimes it's very difficult for them to understand that you have to get to these islands not by road, but by air. So one of the things I will get sometimes is a travel statement requesting number of miles traveled. Then you have to explain to them, hey, Trinidad is about 210 miles from Barbados, and you can only get there by air. Then they wonder, why do you have to go, why the district governor would have to go to Trinidad 4 times to deal with the clubs. You have to explain that it is a reasonably big country. You can't deal with all the clubs in one day, so he has to go more than once. So why is it necessary for him not to go and come back? So because you can get a flight in the morning, then you have the meeting at midday or mid-afternoon, but there's no flight back to Barbados. So he has to go to a hotel. And since he's there in the afternoon, then he has to have dinner, and that is what happens. Then they say, oh, we now understand. But that is the hardest part of it. Once you've gotten over that, then that is it. So the other items there are more or less self-explanatory, and I do not think there is need for me to go through it. So all I'll do is avail myself for any questions which you may have, which I suspect will be none. But I'll nonetheless avail myself.